And so what we do is we run an EKG and we get a baseline. And what we're measuring is, you see these little peaks here, that's your R waves. That's your systolic peak of your heart contracting. And we measure 300 of those things. And what we want to see is variability, hence heart rate variability. We want the time frame between one to the next, not to be the same, but to vary. And that's a really good sign of how well the autonomic nervous system is working. It's kind of like a window into the all-encompassing heart rate variability, excuse me, the all-encompassing autonomic nervous system made up of your fight or flight sympathetic nervous system and your parasympathetic nervous system, which has to do with rest and relax and also reduces inflammation and helps to regenerate the body. So when we go into a stressful state, our body goes into fight or flight. That's the sympathetic nervous system. And then it should be able to dance right back to the parasympathetic side and we can regenerate and repair. Okay, so those are the two main parts of the autonomic nervous system. And this contraction and the time between one contraction to the next is controlled by the SA node, the sinoatrial node of the heart, which is controlled by the autonomic nervous system. So this is a window into looking at that, okay, just to give you a little heads up. And so we're going to go a little further. And here's the baseline, okay? And here's what we're looking at here. So we're looking at these three different colors. The yellow is your sympathetic nervous system, your fight or flight system, and you have to have enough of that functioning to be able to live life and to be able to have enough energy to do things, right? And we need a little bit more, as you see here. It's only 6% parasympathetic. It's mostly 41% sympathetic. So there's not a lot of parasympathetic here in this HF frequency range here in the spectral analysis that we measure from the heart rhythms, okay? And we also have a little bit too much of this very low frequency, and that's kind of the neurohormonal regulation. So if we look at the body, most of what's regulating our body, kind of like fast speed internet, and it works really efficiently because this branch here, the parasympathetic and sympathetic, goes to all our organs and glands and regulates them without us thinking about it. It's very, very quick, right? This is the red is the neurohormonal regulation. It's not as fast, it's not as efficient. It's really the kind of the HPA axis and its downstream hormones. So everything is taking place to regulate the body in the humoral system, in the blood. And it requires a lot more metabolic energy to do that. Okay? So it's kind of like snail mail versus fast speed internet. It's a good way to explain that. And we need a balance there. And we need a little more parasympathetic here, maybe a little less sympathetic, and we need a lot less of this VLF, okay? And when I see a lot of red, I kind of equate that with aging, okay? And there's a lot more here, but just to give you an idea, we like to see this come down. We'd like to see the green coming up, and let's see what happens. So as we go on, we want to see that 6% high frequency start to increase, okay? And we want to see this VLF starting to come down. So here we go. Here's the baseline again. And here's heart rate variability, 35 to 40 minutes after baseline reading and using the Energy FX. So what did we see? That 6% went to what? 23%, okay? And when we start to look at it, we'll do some more comparisons here, but the VLF is starting to come down a little bit. It's at 41%. That's what we want to see. And pretty good balance here in the sympathetic to parasympathetic ratio here. But really importantly, more parasympathetic and the VLF is coming down. Now, the stress index, this is how hard the nervous system has to work to maintain balance. It went up a little bit, but the body's trying to make a change. Things are happening. This is only 35 to 40 minutes after. Let's see what happens. So again, what do we see on the changes? This is kind of the same picture, and Dr. Kerma put this in here. Changes on frequency spectral analysis says decreased, very low frequency shows improvement in the neurohormonal results, red portion of the pie. We see that, right? Increasing high frequency, parasympathetic. So we've seen that. We just talked about that. So that's coming up. That's really good. Let's keep going. So here it is, heart rate variability analysis 3 hours after wearing Energy FX. Wow. 3 hours after, it panned out where the stress index came down. A lot of parasympathetic activity here, probably the right amount. The balance, there's a nice balance between sympathetic, parasympathetic. But look at that VLF. It's exactly, this is what we want to see. But this is pretty close to the exact proportion of regulation in this VLF, very low frequency neurohormonal backup system. Okay, so this is really showing that after wearing the Energy FX, you have a much better ability for the nervous system and the neurohormonal system to regulate the body in the proper balance. So here again, here's the baseline again. Dr. Kermar showing that again, just so you can see it. It's pretty amazing, really. And there's the 30 to 40 minutes. You can see that. And then again, 3 hours after wearing this, okay? Boom. Pretty neat. So there's the first one again that Dr. Kermar did in his experiment. And here you got the increased high frequency spectrum, increased effect after 35 to 40 minutes on the parasympathetic, which we want to see for regeneration and healing to take place, reducing inflammation in the body. And remember that that green portion houses the vagus nerve. That's part of the parasympathetic. That's your gut to brain communication and has a lot to do with the neurotransmitters and how the gut communicates to the brain and affects mood, okay? And so that's coming up. And again, 3 hours, decreased stress index. There you go. I want to thank you for listening.
Check out our new, highly polished and sleek design Energy FX, now available in 2 sizes, for adults, children, or pets. Now every member of the family is covered with Energy FX. For more information, simply contact the person who shared this video.